Hi friends, welcome to the Inspired Knitting Podcast. I'm your host Bobby and I am coming to you from southeastern New Brunswick, Canada. Today is Monday, March the 11th, 2024. Welcome. This is a podcast about my knitting adventures, crocheting and spinning, and lots of fibery fun. So if that's your thing, then perhaps this is the episode for you. Today we are episode 103 and it's going to be a rather light podcast, I will admit that. The past couple weeks just kind of slow for the knitting, to be quite honest. I've done a lot of crocheting though, so I'm excited to share my scrappy granny blanket in works in progress because I have gotten a lot done on that. But yeah, I'm not quite sure what's been going on. We've been having kind of spring-like weather here in New Brunswick, so there's been a little bit of early spring cleaning, and yeah, I don't know. It's just been a slow 2 weeks, but I wanted to touch base with you guys and share what I have done. So I hope you guys have all been doing well. I'm going to first start off by sharing where you can find me on the internet. You can find me most active over on Instagram as xcountrygirl. Nope, that's Ravelry. You can find me on Ravelry as xcountrygirl1986x, as well as Instagram as Inspired Knitting Podcast, where I am most active. Yes, I am a bit rusty on this. So yes, I also always provide detailed show notes. Down below, I link you directly to any makers or pattern designers that I talk about, there's like a little down arrow, so you just click that and it will expand, and there's your show notes right there. So yeah, let me see. Like I said, not too much has gone on in the past 2 weeks. I do have an exciting expansion to my stash, I guess. I managed to finally get my dream shelves that I've always wanted. I've always wanted the cube shelves that could display some of my nicer yarns, and I just ordered one off of Amazon, and yeah, I absolutely love it. So got my new shelves. I had posted a picture on Instagram of it, so that was exciting. That just happened this past week. So I want to thank Kaylee for helping me set them up. She was awesome. She did all the labor in putting them together, and she helped me even organize some of the storage as well. So I have these 2 layers of shelves here with all my pretty yarns in it. I kind of color coordinated them. They're a mix between fingering and DK, although the majority of it is fingering. So yeah, that's what I did there. Over in this one here, I have like my the Fiber Co Lore, which is it is a DK to a worsted. It's more of the rustic yarn, so I have them in that one. Then there's 2 more tiers on the bottom of the shelves. It goes 4 across by 4 high. So the bottom ones I have, they have the baskets that you can put in, the cloth baskets. So I have my other like worsted yarns and cottons and Patton's Croy, stuff like that. I got those ones in the bins down there just because we do have 3 kitty cats in the house, and yes, they all love yarn. So I do have to be careful, but so far, fingers crossed, they cannot get at these tiers of yarn, so there's nothing really around for them to get up on. And then I have my 3 wicker baskets. I wish I had the 4th because my OCD is kind of kicking in that this spot here is it doesn't have the basket. I do have other baskets, but they're too wide to fit in that area. So I think what I'm going to do is just make a display, maybe with some of my gnomes or something like that. I'm not quite sure yet. Or I could just find another wicker basket that matches. I'm not sure yet. But this is what I have so far. And then over here, this is pretty much my it's like a 5-drawer thing. It just has like my tablet, and it has my some of my sewing stuff is in the bottom, and then this bin here, this little basket, I have all like my scraps, my fingering scraps for my blanket and stuff to make magic balls, because I'm loving that, which you will see in works in progress. But yeah, that is what happened this past week, and it has made me so happy, you guys. Like I said, it has been my dream for so long to have storage for my yarn. That way I could just, for one, just admire it, and two, be able to look at it and, you know, actually use the yarn. If I'm sure you guys can relate, you have a pattern, and automatically, I know for me anyways, I'm like, oh, let's go see what like what yarn I can buy to make it. Well, I have so many pretty yarns, but when your storage ain't right and you can't see all of what you got, you don't want to, sometimes you don't want to take the energy to go through it all. Whereas when it's set up like this, you can actually see what you have and actually use what's in your stash, which is one of my goals this year. So I am super happy about that. So anyways, enough about that. I just so happy about that new enhancement to my room and to my crafting area. So I did that. So yeah, let's get on with it, I guess. Not wearing any knitting this week at all. So let's start with finished objects. Grab your beverage of choice. I got my coffee, of course. It's my second of the day, and let's get on with it. So the first thing that I am going to share with you is finished objects, and I have two of them this week. And the first one I am in love with, and it is going to go right here on my shelf. I made an emotional support chicken, or as my family wishes to call it, a rooster, which technically I guess it is a rooster, but either way, it is my emotional support animal, and I absolutely love it. This is a pattern by Annette Corsino, I believe is how you would pronounce her last name, excuse me. I will put it across the screen here, or it will be in the description box below. But I cannot tell you how much fun this chicken or rooster or whatever you wish to call it was to make. It was just so much fun. So it is made using either DK or worsted weight yarn. I ended up holding fingering double, and it's got a really cool construction. It does have a lot of short row shaping. So you would start off with the tail region here, and then it's a paid for pattern, so I don't want to give anything away, but the only seaming that you have to do at the end is down her breast here and here, and then you do her underside as well. This underside piece is knit separately, and then you would seam that together as well. It's not hard at all to do. All I did was a mattress stitch. You could look up on YouTube how to do the mattress stitch. I highly recommend it. It gives you such a clean, finished look. It's absolutely beautiful. And it's also recommended in the pattern too, I believe. But you do crochet if you wish to. This part here, that's in your seaming. So you do need a crochet hook just for this part here, but I'm sure there's a way to get around it. There might even be a tip in the pattern. There is, if you purchase the pattern, they do have a full-length tutorial on how to make the chicken as well, which I never watched because the pattern was very clear to me, but there is a video if you need help in any of the parts. but it was so easy to make. This was knitted separately. This is knit in with it, which I really enjoyed. And this was knit separately as well and added on. And it was just perfect. I loved everything about this project. And I did put the safety eyes on. And she's perfect. I really like it because this was a total scrap buster. I went through my scraps, and these colors here are leftover Cozy Posy Yarn Co. These were in my Jigsaw puzzle by Stephen West, so I put those in there. I held this one with a brown Cascade that I have left over. And then this here, this is also Cozy Posy, and I marled it with a Northern Pearl yarn. And I think that part is my favorite. I just love how those colors marled together. And then for her striping, I added in the teal because when I think of an emotional support chicken, it's very squishy and huggable, but it also brings happiness, and she does bring happiness. So I added the teal stripe in because of my best friend Angel. Her favorite color is teal, so I wanted to make sure that I had the teal stripes in. And thinking back now, because you can use whatever contrast color you want, I wish I had added a band of purple here, because purple is my favorite color. But she's perfect the way she is. I just used what I had. Again, it's all fingering held double, even for the red up here. So yeah, the teal color is West Yorkshire Spinners, and it's just like on their sock, one of their sock bases. It's more of a rustic feeling yarn. Yeah, I'm not sure. Kind of reminds me of like an opal or a regia, but it's perfect. And I love her. We called her Lopsided because I may or may not have been drinking wine when I finished her. So her eyes are totally, I think you can actually tell her eyes aren't even. Not that you can tell when you see her like this. She's perfect, but she's unique in her own way. She's determined. So we called her Lopsided, and I love her. So I highly recommend it. I think I'll be making a little friend for Lopside, and maybe try just holding fingering by itself. Obviously I would have to adjust my needle for gauge, because you don't want your any holes in your fabric. You want your fabric to be somewhat dense to stuff her, but I think I would like to do that. And I want a pink one. I want a pink one. So yeah, really, really love it. Emotional support chicken. I'll have it linked below. I know a lot of people are doing this, and they actually have a kit for the chicken. It actually comes in a cute bag, and it's just, the packaging is wonderful. I saw, I don't remember which podcast I was watching, and they had purchased one, and I thought it was just adorable. It might have been the ladies from Pearled in Texas podcast. I can't remember. But it was just absolutely adorable. So I knew that I had to make one. I would love to have bought in the kit, but it's a bit pricey for me at the moment. So, but like I said, it's a perfect stash buster. So I loved it, and I am going to make another one. So that is my first finished object. My second finished object is a pair of socks. Surprise, surprise. So I finished my Smoke Gets in Your Eyes by Nancy Wheeler. Nancy is currently hosting a sock knit along, and being the podcaster that I am, I did not check to see when her knit along ends. If I am a really good podcaster, I will put it across the screen here. Yeah, but I had casted these on for her sock knit along. I don't know if it's still running or not, unfortunately. Life has just been, and yeah, my brain ain't exactly working. But I finished the socks, and I absolutely adore them. This yarn is Lichen and Lace. She is a local to me dyer here in New Brunswick. And this is in her, I believe it's called sumac colorway. It's these beautiful pinks and it's got purples in it. Absolutely beautiful. So I did 64 stitches, and then I did what Nancy recommended for the cuff, which is a 1x1 rib. I decreased down to 56 to start the leg and the pattern. And I am just going to hold up one, that way you can see the stitch pattern a little bit better. But it's got this beautiful panel down the front of the leg and the foot. Slip stitch, heel flap, and gusset, and the back of the sock is just plain vanilla. So it's really, really fun. It's a 5-row repeat, but once you've done like at least 2 of the repeats, you no longer have to look at the pattern. You can just knit from memory. And I really enjoy it because although it's a very easy pattern, I like that the panel is just on the front and then you got the vanilla on the back. It just breaks it up a bit and adds a little bit of, you know, ease. So I really, really enjoyed these socks, and I have not washed or blocked them yet, but they're just beautiful. I love them. Smoke Gets in Your Eyes, Nancy Wheeler. And if the knit along is still running, if you can knit any pair of socks you want, like any pattern, but if you knit one of Nancy's sock patterns, I believe you get to double dip, so you could post twice for a double entry. I believe that's how it works. So absolutely love these. I'm so happy that I finished them, and I really love the yarn choice for it as well. I think it works beautiful in a light speckle. Love them. So that is all I managed to finish in 2 weeks, but that's pretty decent. So I'm gonna take a quick sip of coffee and we will move on into works in progress, which I only have 2 of them. So the first one I'm gonna start with, oh, wait a minute. That is not true. I actually finished 3 things this week. And I'm not sure. Oh, it is here. 1 second. I knew I finished something else. Okay. I'm still knitting hats on and off for Hats for Hope, which my friend Danielle is hosting. So I believe I'm going to be sending them to her about midsummer, maybe fall. She's located, I believe, in the Utah area, and she's looking for a goal, I believe, of 1,000 hats to give to children. And I've talked about it before. It's just so amazing. Danielle is an amazing woman. Again, I keep saying it, but I am just blown away. I think she's already knitted and crocheted up, I think she's up to like 100 and some hats already. And that's just amazing to me that she dedicates so much of her crafting time for this wonderful cause. So she had reached out to me and asked me to help, and I gladly accepted. So I've been doing different hats. I'm going between crochet and knit, whatever I feel like. So I've made up another one. This is the Barley Hat by Tincanknits, and this here is Red Heart Comfort in the denim tweed colorway. I just love tweedy yarn. So it is 100% acrylic yarn. I'm choosing just to use the acrylics. It's got a 1x1 twisted rib, and then it has this garter panel on the front. Very, very easy hat. It comes in sizes from baby, toddler, child, up to adult small to adult large, I believe. It is a worsted weight pattern. and I want to say it's a free pattern. Not 100% sure on that. I've had it for a while. The Barley Hat's been out for quite some time, but I think it's a free pattern. But even if it's not, it's so worth it just to have all the different sizes. It's a wonderful hat, very easy, and another hat that's just like a 2-row repeat, so it's very potato chip knit. You just get the you just put stitch markers on either side of the garter panel, that way you know, and you just go to town with it. So really love this hat. I will be making more of these for sure. So that's that one. Now we are done with finished objects. I will go on into works in progress. After I casted that one off, I automatically cast another one on. So I had gone to my local Michael's store and I picked out loops and threads. And this one is their Impeccable, which is 100% acrylic. And, oh, sorry, I lied. It's 97% acrylic, 3% other fibers. And it is a Tweedy yarn, so I presume maybe that's the other fibers. And the color number is 13047. Loops and Threads Impeccable. So I will show you the yarn first. It's very, very beautiful. It is this baby blue with all these colorful little Tweedy bits, and I absolutely fell in love with it when I saw it. So I was like, oh yeah, that's gotta be a hat. So for this one, this is a worsted weight yarn. So for this one, I'm just gonna do a plain vanilla hat. I just wanted something different. I was gonna do another barley, but I just decided to do vanilla this time. So I just cast it on, and I did a 2x2 rib so far. And now I am about to start the body of the hat, I think. Maybe I'll do a little bit more rib, I'm not sure yet. I have like I'm not following a pattern for this. I just cast on, I believe it's for a child hat I use a 4.5 millimeter, which is a US 7. Worsted weight yarn. I typically cast on between 74 to 78 stitches for a child size hat. And then I knit it to 7.5 inches in height. So if you would do it, I usually do it to about 6.5 inches, and then I start doing my decreases, because the decreases add about an inch. So I'm not really following a pattern. You can follow the numbers from the Barley Hat, for instance, and just do plain stockinette if you wanted, or Pearl Soho. I have done her hat before, the classic cuffed hat, so you could follow the numbers from that as well and just do your own thing. But yeah, that's what I'm doing for this one, and I really, really love it. It's so cute. And I got my little cute stitch stoppers here. These were a gift to me, so I'm not quite sure where they came from, but they're super cute. They match. So that is hat number, I believe this is hat number 10 that I've done so far for the charity, and they're a lot of fun. I'm enjoying them. It's something simple when you just need plain knitting to work on, and it's a nice break. So I did that. So that's it for the knitting portion. My last works in progress is actually crochet. It is my crocheted granny stripe blanket, and I am so excited. I got a lot of work done on it. So I'm just gonna get some more coffee. Okay. So the last time that I shared this with you guys, I had picked it up after it had been in hibernation for a little while, and I made a magic knot ball, and I spoke about it last time, but if you're new or you didn't see the last episode, I am following Kay the Crazy Sock Lady. She has a podcast here on YouTube. You should know that, but if you live under a rock, you must go check her out. She is absolute one of my favorites. She's so inspiring. Well, she's doing a granny straight blanket as well. She's doing multiple scrappy blankets, which are all gorgeous. But she has a tutorial how to do a magic knot ball. And I've been skeptical of it because I've heard many people say they either loved it or some people didn't like it because their knots would come apart. So I decided to give it a try because I really hate weaving in ends. And if you're doing a scrappy blanket, knitted or crocheted, you're gonna have a lot of ends. Crochet, you can crochet over them, but I wanted to try something different to make it look a little bit neater in the back. So I tried a magic knot ball. So on the last episode, I had made my first magic knot ball. I believe it was 140 some grams, and I actually brought my book with me because once I'm done showing everything, I'm actually going to go over my February stats with you. I'm keeping track of my grams in and out. So the last episode, I already had 213 grams crocheted into the blanket. It is a fingering weight blanket. And my first magic knot ball was 145 grams worth of yarn. And I am excited to say that I put it all in. And I'm just going to hang this here so I don't drop anything. I managed to put it all in and I am so excited. Look how beautiful it is. So I will show it from the bottom. It is just glorious. Ah, I love it. So the last time I podcasted, I was here in the yellow part right there. And I was just about to start that purple stripe right there. So I managed to put in that much work. That was 145 grams of yarn. And I am just loving this project. So when I make my magic knot balls, I am not doing anything in particular. As I said, this is my basket. I got more than that, but this is just the basket that I put together. I am just randomly grabbing scraps. So sometimes there are 20 gram scraps. I'm not putting a whole 20 grams in because like this stripe down, like these stripes down here, I believe are 20 grams. I can't remember now. It was 3 years ago that I casted those on. But I'm not doing that now. If I have a 20 gram ball, I'm kind of splitting it because I do have two other scrappy blankets, so I want to put scraps in those as well. But there definitely is like this one here. This was a whole 10 gram, right? Or maybe that is a 20 gram. Okay, this is a whole 20 gram. And then this pretty one right here is actually a 10 gram. So it varies. I just randomly grab scraps and I'm trying to make it as scrappy as possible. As you can see, this orange stripe doesn't even go all the way across. Some bits are actually quite small, but I'm adding them in regardless because I want to try to use them all up. So yeah. And this blue stripe here, or I should say this is a rusty orange color. This was the last of the old magic ball, and this pretty steel blue color is the start of my new magic ball. So that's what I got done in the past 2 weeks. So I think that's where a lot of my knitting time has gone, just because I have been really enjoying this project. it's just amazing to me. I really love it. It's relaxing and having a lot of fun with it, which is really nice because I am crocheting a little bit more, and that makes me feel so good. So I'm just moving my progress keeper up to the top now. That way I can show my progress on the next podcast. So that's what I have so far, and then I will show you my new magic ball that I made. And here it is. So we got a lot more fun, bright colors happening here, and I cannot wait to see them worked in. So this cake here was 287 grams of fingering weight yarn. And again, it's just mixed between small scraps to 10 grams, whatever I was picking in my basket. I'm trying not to color coordinate because I kind of want to put the purples together sometimes, and sometimes I do, but I'm trying to be kind of random with it, and this is what I came up with this time. So very, very bright, very colorful. So I marked down on my calendar, I actually started crocheting this magic ball in this morning. So I marked it down on my calendar. I want to see how long it takes me to crochet this one into the blanket. So it's nothing major, it's just a little fun thing to see how far I get with it and how long it takes me, because I'm actually surprised that I knit 145 grams, or crocheted, not knit, crocheted 145 grams into the blanket in 2 weeks. Although it is crochet, so it does eat up the yarn like super fast, but still, it's just fingering weight held single, and I am doing it on a 4mm hook, just because I like that gauge. And yeah, so I am actually surprised that I did that much. So I'm just curious. I wanted to mark it down and see how long it would take me to do 287 grams. So yeah, I just made the ball until I was tired of making it, which making the magic knot is actually quite fun. So I was just going to town on my scraps, and when I got tired of doing it, I stopped. And now I have a new pretty ball to put into my blanket. So that is where the bulk of my crafting has gone, because when it comes time to grab my knitting or my crochet, I'm actually gravitating towards the blanket to work on, which is fine by me. It's getting work. So that has been a lot of fun for me. So again, I'm not following a pattern for that. I'm just doing my own thing. There are different blankets that you can follow. Maybe if I can remember, I will actually link one below, but I just cast it on maybe 300 stitches or close to it, and I'm doing a classic granny stitch, just going back and forth. That's it. So that's what I have been doing. All right, so now that's it for the content. I feel like my light has gotten very, very bright. It is a very dull, rainy day here in the Maritimes. And yesterday, yesterday I think it was, or the day before. I'm just gonna turn my light down if I can. Okay, maybe that's a bit better. Okay. It was like super beautiful outside. It was clear blue skies, it was sunny, and I think it managed to get up to like 8 or 10 degrees Celsius. And I went outside. I didn't bring my knitting just because my metal needles make my hands cold and I get cold super fast. but I did sit outside on the patio with my coffee, and I actually took my hoodie off and was just sitting out there in my t-shirt for a little while. It was that nice. The sun was that hot. So I cannot tell you how happy that made me and lifted my spirits. I am totally a summer girl. I'm a sun goddess. So that just lifted my spirits so high. I do not like winter. I don't like the gloominess. So that was super, super exciting because I want to sit outside and knit or crochet or spin or, you know, do all the things outside in the fresh air with nature. And that was just so fun. But now the last 2 days have been raining. It's still technically winter. And we've had a good winter so far, so can't complain. Okay. So now I am going to share with you my stats. I will then go on into spinning. I actually did bring my spinning, and I do have a little bit of stash enhancement to share with you. So if you guys perhaps are not interested in all those things and wish to sign off, I totally understand. Thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And I will see you guys probably in another 2 weeks. But if you wish to stay, thank you and enjoy the rest of the show. So, more coffee. And I will start with my stats. So, I am tracking grams in and grams out this year just because one of my goals was to knit from stash this year as much as possible. Does not mean I'm not buying yarn, because I cannot do that, I don't think. I'll be honest. But I wanted to keep track. So for the month of February, so how I do this, I mark in grams rather than yards just because it's a bit easier. I have a small kitchen scale, so it's easy to manage grams in because a lot of the balls that you get are marked in grams. So this February, I should say, I had a total of 505 grams that came in to my stash. So yeah, that was, yeah, that set me off just a little bit, but that's okay. One of those, was that one of them? No, it was not. Okay. So part of that was I had went to the wool gathering, and I had found a new to me yarn shop, which I will talk to you about in a stash. But so that's part of the reason there was yarn that came in this month. So there was 505 grams that came in. And then grams that went out, I had a total of 449. So I had more grams in than out, but I am not going to complain. We are talking about, what, 55 grams perhaps more in than out. So I am really not going to complain. I'm pretty happy with that. So yeah, that was pretty good. Now, I haven't marked this in my book yet. I probably should have, but I have already started March's totals. And like I said, I haven't updated it quite yet, but I do know that I have 145 grams out of the stash, and that will be for my granny stripe blanket for what I just put into it. Although I did the majority of it in February, I had just finished it in March, so I'm going to count those grams out for March. So I still have to update March's totals, but March has just started, so that's okay. I already have 64 grams out, and that's the hat that I just showed you, the kid's hat. And then I have my socks as well that just went out. So I just have a small kitchen scale for grams out. And so that's why I'm not counting the whole blanket. Before I started that first magic ball, I weighed the blanket, and now I know what the blanket weighed. So that does not get totaled in. That was done like over the past 3 years. What I am now totaling up is the magic cakes. And then when I finish that magic cake, whatever month that falls in, then I'm putting that in here. So 145 grams for that, it will be counted for March. And then I just make a note that the new ball was 279 grams. And if I do finish that in March, yay, that will be a great amount of yardage that just came out of my stash. That's kind of how I'm doing it. It's just a fun thing to look at, and it kind of motivates you to use your stash, and it shows, because sometimes when you work on a project, like I'm looking at the blanket and I can see I made great progress on it, but I think it's just fun to mark down the totals like this and keep track. If I finish something, I do like to track it almost right away, because it can get away from you sometimes. You forget what you've actually finished, and then you're like, oh, I don't want to do it no more. I kind of don't want that to happen. I want to stick with this, because at the end of the year, I would like to look at it and say, wow, I actually, like, I would take total grams in and out for the whole year and see how it balanced out. Doesn't matter if I had more come in or more come out, it's just a fun thing for me to look back at. So I thought I would do that. So there's my February stats, and now we've started into March, and I already have 64 grams out plus a little bit more, so that makes me happy. So I am gonna, what should I move on to? I will probably move on to the spinning first, and then we'll do stash. So I did pull out my spinning, and I worked on this a little bit on Sunday, and I managed to get another bobbin done. So I use an electric eel nano, which is by a company called Dreaming Robots, and perhaps I will put that in the description box below if I can remember. But I will pull out my wheel, because I have started my singles on this one, but this is what it looks like. It is like a 3D printed spinning wheel. It's electric, and I got the smaller one. There is another machine that they have. It's electric as well, but it has a bigger bigger flyer on it for like a bigger bobbin. But I got the nano, and I absolutely love it. And that's the singles I have going. This is my third bobbin. And I'm just gonna put this back because I don't wanna break it. I do keep it in the box just to keep it nice and clean and protected. Okay, and I'll grab them both if I can. There is another one in here somewhere. There we are. Okay. I've got these two spun up so far. I'm guessing it's gonna be a DK weight. I try to go as thin as I feel comfortable with, but I am pretty happy with the consistency of them so far. So I've got the third one, which will be enough, and this is the braid that I am working from. So this braid was from the Northern Pearl, and this is what it looks like. So the camera's blowing, no, not really. I think that's pretty true to color right there. It's just these beautiful pinks and oranges, and the white spots, I believe, are bamboo. I wonder if I still have the tag in here. I should. Yes, I do. So the Northern Pearl, and this is in the Dreams colorway, which is a 60% merino, 40% bamboo, and it is 4 ounces. And yeah, so I have been working on this one for a while, I will admit. I really love spinning. It is so relaxing to me. It just puts you in a certain zone. I just drifted away from it a little bit, and I don't know why. I talk about it all the time, how I want to get back into it, and it was so easy. Like Sunday afternoon, like last Sunday, I just decided, okay, I just want to work on my spinning, and I fell into this rhythm with it, and it was amazing, so relaxing. But the problem is when you have multiple crafts, it's hard to choose which one you actually want to work on. And when you're a knitter, crocheter, and a spinner, which one do you choose? And usually it's my knitting that wins out. Lately it's the crochet that's been winning out, but I really love my spinning, guys. So this one has sadly been going for way too long. I really need to finish it. So this will be my third bobbin. I should be able to get that all on the third bobbin. And then I can ply it, which I do not do on my Nano. I actually do it on an Ashford traditional treadle. It's a single treadle. So I actually spin it on that because the bobbins are a little bit bigger. So I'm almost there, guys. So I'm not gonna make any promises by next podcast because then I'm jinxing myself, but maybe. And then I think the next one that I'm gonna go into, which is totally blowing out, is this beautiful lily and pine that I had picked up at the Pearl and Jays and Thorium in Kingston, Ontario. And I think that one will be my next. This one I believe is a merino comb top. So I'm super excited. So I've talked about it many times, but I'm kind of spinning this for a project. I'm kind of going with the pinks and the purples, and perhaps it will be a shawl or a cowl, something like that, that I can wear with, that's knitted with my hand spun. So we will see. So there is that. And the last part I will share stash enhancement. So there will be a bit of crinkling, so I apologize. So I will start with what I purchased. So we went on a little, what I would call like a little local road trip. And I have been to Salisbury multiple times, but as we were going through, my best friend, we have a wheelchair van, and sitting in the back, I can see, but I don't see that well. I'm blind. Yeah, but I don't see that well. But usually yarn stores, I see. I did not see this yarn store, and the sign was big enough to see, which is quite sad. But it's on Fredericton Road in Salisbury, and it's called the Loopy Wool, and it is a new store. They've been open for about 7 or 8 weeks, she had said, and it's a beautiful store. So it was fully wheelchair accessible, a nice big power door, which was really, really nice. And oh my God, it's just so gorgeous inside. I just went in and I just sat there for a minute taking it all in. It was just so gorgeous. So the majority of the store is rug hooking, which is something I've dabbled in as a kid. Me and my mom each had like a little kit. I believe they were like puppy dogs or something like that. We had each gotten one for Christmas, and I know that they weren't finished, but it was just, I remember it being fun. But it's something that I've not dabbled in because I have enough crafts. But going into this store and seeing it all, I was like, oh my God, I really want to buy a kit. So they have kits already with the pattern. I think you have to buy the yarn separately. I'm not quite sure, but they do have different kits that are set up with yarn that you can purchase. I believe you can use fabric as well. I'm not sure. They had different fabrics there as well. They had the hooks for the rug hooking, obviously. Yeah, it was, the majority of it was rug hooking. There was a kit for like 30 bucks, and they had several of them, and I almost did it, but I did not, because like I said, I have too much going right now. But in the future, I definitely would consider going back perhaps for that. But she does have some yarn as well. She does carry Briggs & Little, which is local to New Brunswick. She does carry Lichen and Lace, who is also a New Brunswick indie dyer. And she also has her own yarn, which I picked up a skein, of course, because I love supporting local dyers. So the skein that I picked up is her signature sock, Loopy Wool. She is on Instagram as well, and they have a website, so you can check out all their beautiful kits. And this one is the Loopy Signature Sock Yarn, and it doesn't have a colorway name, but as you can see, it's only $22 Canadian, which to me is like amazing. That is like super cheap. So really good value. The only thing that I wish, and perhaps it is on the website, I will have to check before I start knitting with it, or I could just message her and ask. I really wish that she had put what the base is. I'm thinking that it's some merino, superwash merino nylon. It feels like it, but this is going to be socks, so I want to make sure it's got the nylon in it. But either way, it is very, very beautiful. And that right there is true to color. My light is blowing it out. The lighting's weird today. But I just had to have it. It is just stunning. So this is, like I said, her own hand-dyed yarn. Her name is blanking on me, and I do apologize. But yeah, very, very, very beautiful yarn. So these will be a pair of socks. So I'm not sure, these might be my next cast on. They're just going to be plain vanilla. I'm excited to see how it actually works up. I love anything with black in it. And then I also picked up a little mini skein from Lichen and Lace. And this is her 80/20 merino nylon sock mini. It is 20 grams, 73 yards in the rhubarb colorway. And I have been oohing and awing about this color for a while, so when I saw it, I just had to grab it. So that's what I got from the Loopy Wool, and I'm excited about it. I cannot wait to get into it. The mini, I'm not quite sure. I might use it for contrast heels, cuffs, heels, and toes. I don't know yet. Or it just might be divided up for my blankets. Not sure. I just really loved it, so I got that. And then the last part of stash is the crinkly one, so bear with me. I'll just get it out of the package first. Okay, so I had entered a giveaway, and I actually totally forgot that I had even entered it into it. But Dana Ray Makes, hi Dana if you're watching, she is a wonderful designer here on in our knitting community. I was gonna say here on YouTube. She is as Dana Ray Makes on Instagram and as Ravelry. She has many beautiful sock patterns. She has a beautiful shawl. I believe there's a cowl. She's a beautiful designer. I love her work. I've test knitted for her before, and she's a wonderful lady. And yeah, I just love all her stuff. Well, Dana had done a giveaway, and it was with Timber Yarns, and you would win a sock set from Timber Yarns, and you would win Dana's new sock pattern. And of course, I forgot the name of the sock, so I'm gonna put it across the screen here. But it has the work sock look to it, and it has this beautiful cable panel going down the front of the leg and the foot. So here is the beautiful Timber Yards card that I got, and it has a little note. And then I will show you the extras first. She sent a thing of cocoa hot chocolate, which I really love these ones. They're so good. So I was excited to see that. And then she also sent these beautiful little stitch stoppers of the little sheepies. I already actually have these ones, but I will definitely use these. I want to get more. They're actually really awesome because I don't know how many times I've lifted my projects out of bags and I've lost my stitches, so that's really awesome. And last but not least, the beautiful yarn. So this was the yarn that I had won. I did get to pick the color that I wanted, which was really hard. It is a DK weight sock set. Timber Yarns has many different colors, and it was seriously hard, but I am gonna knit Dana's sock pattern, and I just thought the red would be perfect. It is more me, so I went with the red one. And as you can see, it is the black marl. It comes with a black marled gray mini and a plain vanilla one as well. So that was the sock set. It is, let me see here. So the plain vanilla sock set would be 40 grams. This one is 10 grams, and then we got our main skein, which is 110 grams. DK weight, 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, and it is in the red colorway. Absolutely beautiful sock set. And as I said, Dana had used this yarn for her pattern, so I am going to knit up the same one. So because I just finished a pair of socks, I think these are going to be my next ones to go on the needles. I think I would like a DK pair of socks on the needles right now. They will be quick. They got cables, which I love cables, so I think that will be it. So this was a beautiful surprise. Thank you so much, Dana and Timber Yarns, for hosting this giveaway, and I am just so thrilled to have won it. So yeah, go check out Timber Yarns. This yarn is so soft. It is just squishy and luxurious. It's gonna make a wonderful pair of socks. So I am super excited. So I am going to mark this in. I did receive this March 2nd, I think. So I am going to count this as grams in because I didn't buy it, but it still came into my stash. So I am going to tag it. So yeah, I'm going to tag it. It's worth it. Beautiful. And I plan to knit it out almost just as quick. So that's okay. So yeah, that is stash enhancement. That's what I had purchased, which was February, except for the gift yarn that came in March. So I'm still doing pretty well. I am, like I said, I'm not limiting myself from buying yarn. So I think that's pretty decent. I'm pretty excited. So probably see those two yarns casted on into socks very shortly. So yeah, that is the majority of the content today, guys. It was a little bit late, but I gabbled on for like almost an hour, so it's a pretty decent episode. So as I said, show notes are always listed below. I won't keep you guys too much longer. I think I've rambled on enough. I hope you guys have had a good weekend and a good start to your week, seeing as today is Monday. And yeah, I hope to see you guys again in 2 weeks time, and perhaps with a little bit more content this time. So until then, take good care and happy knitting, happy crafting. Bye.